Okay. Well, we've been going through what we've been changing it from the last little pitch we gave you quite significantly, talking through Facebook, and we've decided we want to keep elements of the kind of dark, folky atmosphere that we want to do, and we want to keep it dark. We don't want to ever like accidentally spill into comedy, but we want to start it off very significantly with grasslands, like vast shots of grasslands, you know, gently being blown in the wind, and then it's cut through with like you see a shovel like smash into the ground. So it's almost like it's cutting through the grass, cutting through the peacefulness, you know, in a kind of metaphorical way. And you see the two people that were mentioned before trying over like a body on the ground, and rather than it being the cannibal idea that we brought up last time, we decided to change it to more of a ambiguous idea that some kind of creature has taken over this body. Not in a kind of zombie way, but we wanted a kind of invasion of the body snatchers, alien kind of perhaps way. And we wanted it to be ambiguous because we think ambiguity gives it that intrigue, that kind of interesting element in the background. And yeah, so it's going to be a dialogue-heavy opening sequence where through little snippets you're going to learn that some kind of extraterrestrial beings have taken over certain bodies, and it's had like repercussions. So it's caused mass hysteria, for example, and widespread death has occurred based on paranoia. We like the idea of kind of it causing animal overdose. Now, so that's the full opening sequence, basically. That's, yeah. Influences, like I said, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 50s one. There is a serial of Doctor Who from 1964 that both of us quite like, called the Dalek Invasion of Earth, which is very kind of barren and very, more or less post-apocalyptic. And we just kind of like that whole atmosphere that it builds up, the kind of dark undertones of it. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got this initial shot of the grass and everything with the shovel cutting through. Then what's happening?
Then we have these two characters talking, so we're going to have quite a few wide shots.
On screen, talking to each other.
Yeah, and we've had the idea of them heading towards a car. That, for narrative purposes, having them go from direction A to direction B, walking towards the car, and getting in it by the end. And then I think for the actual titles, I've not really discussed this much with you, but I think having shots of them driving along a road, we'll edit it carefully because we can't really, you know, have driving in there, but interspersed with stock footage of like disasters and, you know.
Can't do that. Can't use stock footage.
At all. No. Public domain. Well, we could change that, but we still want. I mean, I'm thinking of performing my own little folk piece based on a piece of traditional folk music, so that's out of copyright. So.
Good. Yeah, that's fine. Other people.
I think you've got it pretty much just sewn up there. Yeah.
So these characters, what are they doing? You haven't told us what genre it is.
Post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic, okay.
Yeah, probably a good start.
So what are the characters doing? Are they just surviving?
Yeah,
or?
sorry, that's probably a good point. They're killing this guy, you know, and through dialogue we'll learn that this person was a friend of theirs, and because they're worried that he has some kind of connection with these aliens taking over bodies, they feel obliged to kill him. And most of the dialogue between the two characters is going to be arguing. It's going to be talking about the morals of should we have killed this person if we didn't really know.
So when it opens, is the person dead? Or
yeah, well, we want to have him dead, but you see a couple of twitches, you know what I mean, before hits with a shovel. So kind of dead, yeah. On the ground, incapacitated.
Robin.
Who's your audience?
Probably going to go for between about 18 and 45, I think, is our general, you know. So
definitely mature.
Yeah, definitely kind of. I mean, it will touch on kind of like, you know, a young adult kind of audience, but mainly mature, I think.
How's that going to be made obvious?
Probably, I don't know actually, we've not really discussed that much, have we? How it's going to link in with the target audience. I think just through dialogue and gonna, yeah.
Like a dark themes.
Well, the dark themes definitely, yeah. Not exactly a happy concept.
Anybody else? How about the pace of it? How are you going to engage the viewer with this? Because you've got the initial death scene, and then you've got what sounds to me like quite a long scene of them talking, going towards the car, and then getting in the car. What happens when they're in the car, or after they get out the car, or what?
Well, it is going to be, narrative-wise, it is going to be a long scene of basically them just killing this person and then walking towards the car, with the dialogue being the main focus of it. But I think through sharp cutting, we could try and get it to keep the interest of the audience.
So how are you going to do that?
Well, editing really. We don't want to hold too long on certain wide shots because that's just going to, you know. I think in the background, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we like to include distant shots of buildings slightly in a state of decay. So all these little elements. I mean, this is the main idea. We want it to be not plainly obvious at first. We want it to gradually build up the notion that this is a post-apocalyptic film, that this is going to, you know, the general plot is going to gradually build up. So these added little elements like the buildings in the state of decay in the background, it's just another element of adding to it. So hopefully we're trying to engage the audience with intrigue of what's going on.
I think what will be really useful is maybe once you've got the script written, that everybody sort of hears the script.
Yeah.
To sort of maybe sort of help visualise what could be happening as they're saying things. That'd be really beneficial.
It sounds a bit slow. Does anything happen at the end of the intro? Like
I've
a big
not
type?
planned anything yet, but the more I think about it, I don't know about you, Jay, but the more I think about it, the more I think it needs something quite distinctive to pull people in. Perhaps it could be an interesting idea for these two people that are talking, for one of them to die in some way right before the credits hit, in a kind of Tarantino-esque fashion, like the opening to Kill Bill. You see Uma Thurman being shot, and that's the moment that, you know, pulls the audience in, so perhaps something along the lines of that.
So is your opening sequence the shot of the grass, the guy killing the friend, and then walking to the car?
Yeah, walking to the car with the darling.
Okay.
I think if you're going to do something like Kill Bill, what you should do is have like a close-up of the person who's being killed as they're killed with the shovel.
Yeah, good idea.
I thought he was already dead.
No, he's like...
Well, he's like, he's obviously been hit quite a few times with this shovel already, so he's like twitching slightly.
They're just making sure he's dead, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
What locations do you like you're looking to film at? Like you said, mention
like,
the buildings decaying and stuff.
See, that's going to be a difficult bit because we want to find somewhere where it's vast grasslands, and then, so I don't know if we're going to have to use some kind of camera trickery to get him there, if possible. But I mean, there are a few places good
places like Apocalyptic, or one of the fields down the quarry.
What is it, Thieves Wood or something like that? There's like
no, but that's not really grassland.
Yeah, but there's open spaces over.
As well, what I would say is actually try and find these kind of places, because it's all well and good saying you're going to edit in like buildings in the background and that, but it's not exactly an easy thing to do.
Fair enough, yeah.
With limited time as well.
I can understand that, yeah.
How are you going to make it obvious that an alien's done it?
You see, that's the point. We want to, in the grand scheme of our mind, it is going to be this alien invasion thing, but we'd like them, the main characters, to refer to some kind of being through simple little descriptors like them. So it makes it kind of ambiguous, but it gives you the connotations of something like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Do you not feel as if using some form of alien invasion makes it more of a sci-fi film? It's edging over to that sci-fi genre and moving away from a post-apocalyptic sort of...
Perhaps, yeah, but I don't know, I just I like the idea of merging two genres together. We're going to really try and emphasise the post-apocalyptic element of it, because we don't want it to fall too much into this sci-fi kind of area. But yeah, I can understand those concerns with myself.
I think the difference between the two is that post-apocalyptic hints that it is most definitely after it, whereas sci-fi can be during or just after it.
You say just then as well you're going to emphasise that it was post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? Like,
well, through the vast shots and the decrepit buildings, and through the dialogue, like we say, I don't know how much more we could.
are you looking at buildings like abandoned buildings? And
Yeah. Like several like old factories in Sutton, for example, that have the distinctive look.
Yeah.
That would really good use, yeah.
So what have the aliens done?
Pardon?
What have the aliens done again?
They've inhabited certain bodies, and they've been doing bad things, don't know quite what yet. But the main problem it's caused is mass hysteria. So it's caused people to basically go and kill themselves, you know what I mean, in a kind of very...
Right. So an old War of the Worlds type panic.
Yeah. We don't want it to be too far-fetched on the grand scheme of the plot. We want to try and keep it subtle, because it becomes a ludicrous farcical comedy then.
What you'll also do, because you're going to be dialogue heavy, especially if you're recording outdoors, is that you need to practice with external mics.
Yeah.
You think about it, otherwise you're just going to get loads of wind noise, and it's going to be horrible. So that's something to do before, is to go out and record things with external mics and then be matching it up with stuff in here.
Oh, yeah.
Because otherwise, yeah, it will just be atrocious.
Imagine, yeah.
Okay, I think that's quite a lot, but I'll leave. Excellent.
Thank you.